Peace. Good morning, family. How you doing? It's Mr. R2 here at Consistency is Currency, your morning podcast. You've made it to another Friday. Today is August the 26th. It is Friday. For those who live for Fridays, it's another day, I guess, that you can live. I don't know. However you see Friday for you, some people don't start work until the weekend, but some people end their weekend off on Friday. So good morning to you. I thank you for being here. You can be anywhere right now at 7:30 in the morning. Right now it's 7:32. You can be anywhere right now at 7:32, but I thank you and I appreciate you for being here. Let's close this week out strong, just as well as you started it. If you did not have a strong week, you do have the ability to change it, like right now. But if you don't change the way your week was, you will never have a new week because you will feel like it's the old week. So let's change that process. Let's put ourselves in that position. Let's put ourselves in that mark to where we can change what we want to do because we know why we're doing it. We know the consistency that it takes in order for you to complete the project or in order for you to complete the process. So the one thing that I want you to make sure that you do right now is to put the word knock inside of the chat, because we're going to take ourselves to a space that is going to be beneficial for us when we understand that it's going to take us being committed to the knock. It's going to take us being committed to the knock, because being committed to the knock is a process. It's a mindset. So being committed to the knock came from yesterday. We talked about commitment and our 4 words of commitment. And coming from those 4 words of commitment, that got us to the point to where at the end, I forgot the gentleman's name that had mentioned it. He was like, he said something, and it got to the point to where committed to the knock just became the repeated process, and it became repetition. And I was like, man, committed to the knock is something that can be used and useful. I was like, you know what? Bet. We're going to use committed to the knock for tomorrow, and that's where we are right now. Peace. Good morning, Dr. Coffee. Good morning, Mr. Bowens. How you doing, sir? So let's go ahead and jump into it. Committed to the knock. Switch this. All right. You see, I had to change the photo. I don't know what happened. The image just disappeared, and I was like, bet. Fine, whatever. I'll just change it out. So this is not going to take long, but it is going to take a process. So put the word knock, KNOCK, inside the chat, because it's going to put you in a different mindset, because you're not going to see the word knock the same way after you get these jewels of being committed to the knock. Again, I want you to understand, committed to the knock is a mindset. It is a mindset that I want you to begin to comprehend, and you can even begin to use this mindset going forward, however you see it. Again, like we always do, we're going to give you the definition of words. We're going to go back to etymology of it, to where you get the root word and the origin, and then from there we're going to tap into the deep dive, and we're going to end at the deep dive, because I just want to make sure that you understand that this committed to the knock process is a continued process. It's not something that happens just one time. It is something that you can utilize over and over and over again to get yourself through situations, because situations is going to happen. But what do you do when you get to that point? What happens when you get to that door? What happens when you understand that the sound is the result is better than the sound? So go ahead and put knock. So let's go ahead and jump into it. The definition of knock, it says a discouraging experience, a setback. It says a discouraging experience or setback. And the inversion that I want you to pay attention to is red over white, not white over red. But I'm gonna touch on white, but we're going to give focus and give emphasis on red over white. The knock is an experience. So we're going to look at the experience. It's kind of like being resilient when they say hunt for the good stuff. So we're going to hunt for the good stuff with this. It is an experience. Of course, grammatically, it will be "and" because of the vowel of E. So in this, again, is an experience. And then let's flip it back to white over red, which it says a discouraging, a setback. discouraging and setback. You can get knocked down. You can get knocked knocked up. You can get knocked in. You can get knocked off. You can get all of these things that have the word knock in front of it. But the thing that I want you to pay attention to is the experience. The experience and the lessons that learned throughout the process of what happened when the knock occurred. So let's go through the etymology of it. The etymology of knock is an old English. Now, I ain't gonna lie, I was trying to look up how to say this word. I don't care where I look, it didn't give me, you know how you can put a word in there and it'll have like a symbol where you can hit the play and you can hear how to say it. I couldn't find it. But I'm going to say the C is silent. So the old English says knocking, whatever it is. I'm going to make the C silent. I'm going to make my own stuff up. West Saxon, knock-shin again, whatever. But it says to pound, beat, knock, or knock on doors. So it's like taking that beating, that pounding, and you having the ability to get up. You having the strength, that inner strength to tell yourself that I may have been knocked down, but I am not knocked out. There is something that's inside of me that's going to allow me to keep going. That's been committed to the knock. I'm not held down by my circumstances, but because of my circumstances, I have learned through the process. So I'm committed to the knock because I'm committed to the journey. I'm committed to making it better. I'm committed to the change. I'm committed to the opportunity because I'm committed to the knock. So let's go ahead and begin this process of this deep dive on how being committed to the knock can begin to change the way you process thought, can begin to change the way that you process situations, can begin to change the way that you acknowledge that the knocking has occurred, but I am going to be the result, and I'm not going to be I am not going to be distracted by the sound. I am going to be committed to the results. That is being committed to the knock, because again, the commission, the being committed to it is the mindset that is going to take in order for you to get to that point to where I am much stronger now because I have learned through the process of how to do what I want to do, because it is a set of beliefs with the right mindset that keeps you fighting forward. Just listen to it. I am committed to the knock. That is a set of beliefs. That is you looking at it for either what it is, and that's you looking past what have just taken place. You have begun to fortify your beliefs and not being sabotaged by developing false narratives or developing crushing sabotage or sabotaging the moment. That is you strengthening your beliefs by creating the proper mindset that is going to keep you fighting forward, not going to keep you being knocked down. So real quick story, which I was listening to this podcast and I had to go back. I looked at it. So it was a fight when Buster Douglas had fought Mike Tyson. Now I know it's kind of crucial because there was like the standing 8 count. It looked like he counted like 15 times, but the referee, still allowed him to get up. So what Buster Douglas had said when Mike Tyson hit him with that uppercut and he got knocked down, and the person had asked Buster Douglas is like, so why did it take you so long to get up? You got hit and you stayed down there, and you can see his frustration. He punched the canvas. And Buster Douglas said, at that moment when I got knocked down, I start to question myself, how did I get here? What did I do to put myself in this position? And what am I going to do when I get up? That's you asking you, how did I get here? Was I distracted by outside influence? Did I not pay attention to the training? Did I allow myself to be absorbed with the circumstances? So after you've got knocked down, what steps are you going to take now to get back up? If you don't know why the cleaning solution 409 came about, is because that's how many times that it took them to get it right. 409 times. No matter the situation that you may have found yourself in, that means you can look at it for what it is and you can learn from what it was in order for you to get the result that you want out of it. That's being committed to the knock. That's you understanding that, yes, it happened. Now, what am I going to do about it? That's you having that strong set of beliefs, or strengthening your belief system and having that right mindset that I am going to fight because I'm committed. I am going to keep moving because I'm going forward, because the direction that I'm going is progressive. You can have people that move forward, but is that forward progress? It's like throwing a football sideline to sideline. It's still 50 yards, but it's still 4th and 1 for you. It's still 50 yards, but it's still 4th and goal. You're either going to get a new set of downs or you're going to score. But are you committed to the knock? That's like a fullback rushing to the line and getting knocked back, but he or she is still on their feet, but they're still able to gather themselves and continue to push forward. Are you ready to keep driving? Are you ready to keep your feet going? Are you ready to keep the process and the momentum that you've gathered in order for you to continue that process of learning? Because the knock wasn't a knockdown. The knock was just a setback. Even in the definition itself, it says a setback. Your knock was not your knockout. Your knock was your beginning of the process to set you up for success. That built upon your determination, because it's like, I'm determined to distance myself from the distraction in order for me to see what my next move is. And now that I have acknowledged what my next move is, I'm ready to take that next step. Putting my best foot forward, putting myself in a position to win, only because I have allowed myself to learn in the storm that I know that because of the storm started, the storm does not have to end my day. I'm going to say that again. Because the storm have started, that tells you the storm doesn't necessarily have to end your day. You can begin to arm yourself with the umbrella or a raincoat, or to just get out there and say, you know what? The rain does not end my day. The rain just makes my day that much more interesting. And because my day became interesting, I'm going to know what to do just in case it rains again. Like, you know what? I don't like how I feel right now. I don't particularly like to feel wet. So I'm going to clothe myself with something that is going to protect me the next time it rains again. I'm going to keep an umbrella in the trunk, or I'm going to keep a raincoat in the trunk. I'm going to keep my rain boots in the trunk. That's because you've learned what it felt like to feel wet, and you don't want to feel wet like that again. So you're going to create these precautionary measures to ensure that if it happens again, I am much more capable and able to go through it again, because I allowed myself to be committed to the knock. So I'm gonna ask you a question, and the way that you have to process this thought is to see it for what it is in order for you to see yourself through it. What is that knock for you? What was that situation that knocked you back? What is that time that you felt like you was knocked down? Or that moment that you felt knocked you out? It could have been a breakup. It could have been you being fired from a job. It could have been your divorce. It could have been the loss of a loved one or the loss of a child, whatever it is. That blow probably felt like a knockout blow, but because you was able to see another day, you was committed to the knock because I'm committed to it. So I'm committed to learning this lesson. So now I'm processing things different. I'm seeing things for what it is. So have you learned how to manage your defeats? That is a question that can only be answered by you, really. So can you manage your defeats? Can you manage your failures? Can you manage through your circumstances? Can you manage through the situations? But look at it this way. When you learn how to manage this mindset, you can begin to then learn how to manage the commitment of the knock. Because you'll be able to drive different. Your drive is going to be different because you're going to be like, you know what? I felt this before and I know what it feels like. So now, because I have absorbed what that felt like, now I am much stronger if I feel it again. My level of resiliency is a lot stronger because I have identified what that distraction was. And because I can identify the distraction and I can now foresee because I remember what it looks like. You're going to have a new position in life because now being committed to the knock is not being worried about how many doors get closed in front of you, but it's telling you that I can go and knock on another door. I can go and knock on another opportunity. The opportunity did not end when that door was shut, but the opportunity that you've learned what you probably could have said different or probably could have done different when that first door was shut, that gave you the time to sit down and to create that setback as a setup because you said, you know what, I probably could have said this different. Now let me go ahead and change my pitch. I probably could have added this to it. So now the next person that I speak to, I'm going to use my experience that I've learned in that last conversation to make my next conversation that much better because now I've learned how to negotiate with myself. So now I learn how to negotiate with others because I'm committed to the knock. Like when they say opportunity knocks, that means opportunity is not just knocking for you. Opportunity is knocking for somebody else too. But what are you going to do with it? That's what makes it different. What are you going to do with the opportunity? So there's one thing that I want you to pay attention to. And for me, it's like a moment that I've learned and begin to speak to myself, even as I began to, as I was creating this, being committed to the knot. And I want you to understand this, and I want you to take this to heart for yourself too. We have to understand that we have to develop the results after the knot and not just listen to the sound of the knot. Right? Not just listen to the sound of the knock and be distracted by the sound, but what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do after that setback? What are you going to do after that breakup? What are you going to do after that divorce? What are you going to do after that fallout? What are you going to do after that door was closed? What are you going to do when after nobody wanted to shake your hand? There's somebody willing and able and capable that can shake your hand next. That might be the handshake that you need to put yourself in a position that now you're much more successful and accomplished because you met the right person. But you are willing to go through 20 to find the 21st person. You was willing to go through 20 doors to find a 21st door that opened for you. So now that door has changed your life forever. That door has changed the legacy that comes after you. But it takes one person in your lifetime to change your momentum, that changes the legacy for everybody that comes after that person. After you, we'll communicate about you, and we'll communicate about me, because that's all it takes. It takes one person to change the way they see things, to change the way they say things, or change the legacy of that bloodline. Are you that person? Have you been that person? And if you're not that person, you can be that person. But are you committed to the knot? Are you committed to the process? Are you committed to your gifts? Are you committed to your purpose? Are you committed to your destiny? Are you committed to the destination that you have set out for yourself? Because all these things take a level of commitment. And I say level of commitment because there are times where you're just not going to feel like doing anything. You're not going to feel like saying something. But having a level of commitment puts you in the game. It still puts you in the game, coach. But you have to be committed to the knot. And you have to be aware that there is a responsibility that you have. But are you ready to take on that responsibility for yourself? And that's completely up to you. That's the process that you have to take in order for you to get to where you want to go. Let me switch this. All right. So my question to you, are you committed to it? Because in order for tomorrow to come, today has to be here. I'm focusing on my today. I'm focusing on what I say today. Because the things I say today can change tomorrow. Meaning it can change my direction tomorrow. But I have to be committed to this knock right now. I have to be committed to this life right now. I have to be committed to this process right now. I have to be committed to this life right now. And after you understand that there is a level of commitment that you must have with you, it's not about what everybody else say. And I'm gonna tell you something that as I began to process these thoughts this morning, and it had came to me like out of nowhere. It was like not everybody has to see your vision. Not everybody's going to see it. I'm just going to be honest. Not everybody is going to see your vision because your vision was given to you. Everyone only sees the results of your vision. They only see the results of the work. They only receive the results of your follow through. They only receive the results of your walk. They only see the results of the process. But we have too many people that's trying to force people to see their vision, that the vision was given to you. Your eyes is different from mine. I don't care. I may put on glasses. I still won't see your vision. I can only see the results. And I'll say it now and I say it again. Stop running your mouth and run your feet. Stop talking about what you're going to do if you're not willing to do it. Stop putting yourself in position and then you put yourself in a position just for you to be in somebody else's way. You put yourself in alignment just to be out of alignment somewhere else. And I had to look at that for myself. It's like, say you hurt your right leg, but then you begin to compensate on your left leg. Your left leg is going to get sore, right? Because you're not putting an even distribution on both legs. Instead of strengthening the right leg, you're having you're knocking off your equilibrium because you're putting more weight on the left. So that's you paying attention to a situation and not looking at the total situation. Like, okay, where was I at when this happened? How can I do different just in case this happens again? What lessons am I going to learn in this process in order for me to make it better for all things? Because that's going to take a self-assessment. And as you take a self-assessment, don't you know that you can possibly put yourself on a new assignment after the self-assessment has been done and created? Because I know for me, at times when I begin to feel myself plateau, I have to take myself out of it and put myself on a different in a different type of room, compartmentalizing, and say, you know what? What could you have done different? What could you have said different? What about what you said made sense to you before you opened your mouth and said it to somebody else? I had to look at it from a whole different way. So I'm committed to even knocking myself down to say, you're not as good as you think you are. Sit your tail down and learn what you can do different in order for you to stand up from a different perspective and learn from the process and learn from what commitment you have with yourself in order for you to go out and to even possibly be a vessel to somebody else. You have to refill yourself. All right, I'm gonna leave that alone. Hey, I'm gonna ask you, are you committed to the process? And I'm gonna leave that alone. Are you committed to your knock? Your knock is different from my knock. My knock is different from yours. What makes me strong might not make you strong, because I have to take a personal approach to what my knock is, my set of beliefs, my belief system, the things that I acknowledge, the things that I know that I need to change, the things that I understand about myself, the things that I grow from and grow to. Those are my commitments. But are you committed to yours? Are you committed to your knock? Are you committed to your set up, not your setback? Your setbacks have probably set you aside, but now when you're in that set aside moment, create your next steps that's going to allow you to create the newness to realign you back with the direction that you need to go, which is a progressive direction that is moving yourself from point A to point B. All right, I'm done. Hey, I see y'all Monday, 7:30, right here at Consistency is Currency, your morning podcast of choice. Y'all be blessed. Peace.